Yeah.
I will lead the way. Hello, everyone. I've got today this amazing human being and a female leader who actually a year ago taught me and encouraged me to do videos and be quite brave in communicating, not only on videos, but as well in writing, but especially at bringing my voice forward. So, welcome, Rachel Dunn. It's an honor to onboard you to the
Thank
CEO
you.
World Record.
Thank you
So,
so
Rachel,
much, Laura.
you are so welcome. Without further ado, I know you have so many different initiatives that are literally born from, I would say, your soul and the purest essence of who you are. And I really want to start our conversation about the elephants and your love to these animals. Could you share with us how the message of elephants reached you, where you are with your initiative, why you do what you do?
hmm Thank you. Yes. Look, the elephant story, I'll share with you the impact that I really want to make too is with animals, the people and animals that don't have a voice. And I think as CEOs and business people, we go through an up and down journey. And this was a long time ago. This was probably 9 years, 10 years ago. I was going through a change. And I really just started asking the question, what will it take for an idea to come to me that I can make a difference and use my skills? And I really was opening up to the world of animal communication, which is a very different way of communicating with animals beyond behavior. And I had a picture of an elephant taking a selfie that popped into my head. Now, I don't know, that image just came to me. I don't know where it came from. And I feel like it's been a calling. Do you know what it's like when you just get this thing and well, as you're doing now, it's just something that stays with you? That's exactly what happened with this. And this picture in my mind, I guess, brought me to start to study and look to see if anything like that existed, if elephants actually are out there taking photos, doing selfies, or maybe an elephant wants to communicate. So it really drove me 3 months later to travel the world to see what elephant actually may have sent me that message that I picked up, that I tuned into, or that was trying to find a way to communicate. And I traveled the world studying animal communication and elephants and following their telepathic messages. So it's been quite a journey.
Wow, how did that change you? I believe that it has given you the depth, an amplitude of growth, the one you probably never experienced with a human being. So, how did that change you?
Look, when I first set out, I was always amazing at directing other people. But when it came to me being the face of a story, I really struggled myself being on camera, being like this with you. And what it really taught me is when the cause is great enough, you will find a way to have a voice. You will find a way to get your message out there. And that's what they really taught me. And there's just so much, especially with the matriarch and family and connection. And because I was very lost, the first place that I went to, I really connected with this beautiful older elephant that was also very lost. And we kind of had this beautiful friendship. And I think she was lost, and I picked that up. And yeah, they've taught me so many things, and they still are teaching me many things. So.
And Rachel, what is the initiative and the impact you are coaxing kind of and creating with the animals and especially, I mean, with the elephants, right? What is it you want to see in your lifetime?
Really, the documentary that I'm making, and which is incredible. We just had a new investor come on board, and we are, in the final state. We want to be finally releasing it this year. And really, the initiative here with the elephants, especially, and animal communication in general, is I would love to see organizations that have animal parks or working with animals to actually adopt and have an animal communicator as like it's like if you're a translator to work with animals to be able to make it a better world, because when you work together, it's just another language. And really, when you work with them rather than forcing our view, it's a completely different synergy, if that makes sense.
Absolutely, it does. And I've spoke as well with another leader here on the CEO World Record, and she wants us as humans to speak with the help of artificial intelligence translator to speak with whales. And I'm kind of connecting the dots. And very often, I think when we as humans, or as a company, or as a team, we sit down and we try to project our ambitions, right, in the future. We sit down isolated as humans, separated from nature, separated from animals in nature. And normally, I kind of always raise the question, if the planet Earth could speak with us in
Mm,
kind of curating that future, how different our decisions would be.
mm.
So that's kind of my own reflection, which I walk around, and I
Love it.
totally see when you just said that, organizations having those parks where, freely kind of animals walking around. Yeah, I believe that we would
Mm.
find deeper answers from our kind of innate intelligence, where we are fully anchored, and like our bodies are aligned with our minds and souls, and not like only, only the head is kind of working, but then we are like detached from other feelings.
Exactly. And I just feel that all animals have a voice. And another project we're involved in called Symphony of the Earth, which is about bringing the earth together in animal sounds and actually creating the first ever world first interspecies celebration through film, and bringing musicians together to actually showcase. Because when you hear animal sounds that you've never heard before and you get them together, and it's time for the first interspecies celebration. We've never had one before.
I love that initiative. It's so beautiful. Rachel, let's move to the girl director. Could you share with us, how did you find camera? How did you find, lens, and being the voice, and teaching leaders to be the voice of the message? And not only leaders, I know that you are as well working with biggest brands in Australia and all over the world, and kind of helping them to bring their message forward. How did you find yourself in that space?
Yeah, but thank you for asking. I was one of those fortunate people. From the age of 15, I knew that I wanted to be a director. I knew, and that was my path. And I haven't veered off that path since. And of course, it's gone around a few circles. But Girl Director was born really from being a freelancer, coming from full time working in television. I just really wanted to create an identity or a superhero, and she was a superhero, and she's kind of behind me here. She's a superhero that really embodies being a force for good, and also being able to help people that, and give those, people a voice that are voiceless or are in situations they don't feel comfortable or confident. So she became, her own character. And it's grown from just being me as a freelancer to an academy where we, teach and empower business owners to really stand up and have a voice and be thought leaders in their own right, because the ripple effect of the videos that our clients are making are huge. Millions and millions of people are watching these and having an impact. So I just feel so proud of that work. And that's all come from this one little character that I created, mainly to not be the face of the business. And then look what happens.
Yeah, and I because I tried myself to coach myself, right, to be brave enough to speak a second language or a third language and speak well enough and articulate and look in the camera lens. And if you can, guys, now see how well Rachel is doing that, you can pick up on some lessons. So, yeah, what I wanted
Yeah.
to say that it's just so needed to the way I see it as for us as leaders, it doesn't really matter if we as CEOs or we wear any type of title, but if we know what we want in this life, to be able to speak up and do that in a video form, because this is far more powerful than only copywriting and etc. And let's try to answer the world record question related to the girl director. So, how is the world better off, Rachel, because the girl director is in it?
Well, I believe that the world is better off with Girl Director in it because we're able to help, we teach people to make videos forever. So it means that the impact, we started teaching this many years before it's popular. 10 years we've been online teaching camera confidence. So the impact that that's had on thousands of women to have a voice, some of them have been in, really traumatic situations, but to be able to, for them to feel safe and to be able to express themselves, I just think it makes the world a better place. And I think that teaching people to be storytellers, and no matter where they are, many of our clients are telling stories they never dreamed of. And that is what's going to make the world a better place, is sharing some of these stories that need to be shared from all parts of the world. So
Hmm. This is beautiful. And I've seen so many of kind of peers or students with whom we've been, how better people they became, or how far more confident you are becoming, stepping out of your world. And Rachel, if you could change like one thing, one major thing in the mindset of any leader who wants to make a difference, and it's really like frustrating you immensely, what would that change be?
oh, that's a good question. I think there's a couple of things. I think two things. I don't know if it's related to the mindset of every CEO, but what I would like to see shift is two things. One is for more female film directors because there's only like 5% are female. So really empowering more women be storytellers and taken seriously in Hollywood. I'd also like to see more creative roles being valued because I feel creative roles, people question it, they don't get paid their worth quite often. And I feel that creative roles, creativity is infinite. And when you spend the money in a company on the creatives, as well as the lawyers, you're going to have infinite solutions and things that you can think beyond, what the company is capable of.
Oh, I love that. Creative people plus lawyers. I totally see that tandem.
Yeah.
I know that this is a family owned business. You are working with your life partner, Michael, and I just can assume that there probably are moments where it's like a huge benefit to have it as a family owned business, but as well there are moments where something you want both of you something different, or there is like some ups and downs coming. Could you share with us like what does it feel and look like to work side by side with your amazing husband? You do just so many things incredibly well together. How do you guys
Mhm.
manage that?
It's interesting because we both have different roles in the business and we both are such a strong team. And Michael was actually sick last week and that's why he's not joining me too, is he's been really sick with this bad cough. And I've just felt like it felt quite singular over the last week. And it's just that we are yin and yang, we fit together. And so I just feel that whenever something is really tough, we come back together and we're like, we can do anything. When we're together, we can do anything. And we say that, we trust in that. and we come back to that. But when we're kind of alone, we're kind of bumbling around, if that makes sense.
Wow, this is so powerful. We can do everything together. That's a beautiful value. All right. Let's speak about your rituals as a team, because I know that you have guys a wider team and you have so many different projects, and each of them require bespoke attention, right, and alignment with your ethos and client ethos and etc. Guys help you, like what type of rituals help you to stay anchored to that biggest audacious impact of yours and not lose yourself, or not even sell your soul because there is a big project paying a lot of, promising a lot of money? What helps you to kind of be aligned and make those aligned decisions?
I think we work on our goals every day. So we work on journaling. It's very important that we write it down and we look at our behavior. And we've done a lot of mindset work with different people over the years, and just really thinking about who is that person that we want to become, and what behaviors do we need to change in order for that to happen. So we're very aware of working on that every single day. Um, and also, I think just being really clear on the vision to start with, like what is that big vision? And when it excites you that much, it's really important to have images. It's important to write it out every day, to really be connected with it. Because sometimes, yeah, you go, is this going to happen, or is what's happening here? And you just come back to trusting in that and working and knowing that if you're working on that every day, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and you've just got to trust in that. You don't know when.
Mm. I can see the writing part, and I would want to actually deeper into that. How do you
Mm-hmm.
do that? I mean, do you have like a physical diary as this, and you just, it's always in there somewhere? I see. Yeah. How do you do that? Is it like, throughout the day when you get insights, you just put something in, or it's like dedicated time? Um,
Yep. No, it's dedicated time. We try and do study every morning where we will study a piece of literature or a Thomas Troward, or we will look at the same piece of writing. We've done a lot of Bob Proctor's work and we go over it and over it. The repetition is what we really go into and study it deeply until we pretty much practice that. Like this week, for example, we're really practicing the law of non resistance. So we're really looking at it, studying it, reading it, and looking at, okay, where are we putting resistance up in our own life? Where are we resisting or saying no or making it hard? And so, really looking at the laws of the universe, looking at literature, rereading it, studying it, embodying it. And so that also means that we will write every day. I'm so happy and grateful now that X is happening in the now, and embodying that belief, so that it starts to shift our behavior and we start to step into that and things just start to flow. So, yeah,
wow.
that's the ideal anyway. Does that make
Wow.
sense?
What it absolutely. The reason why I ask it is that I know that there are a couple of more family-owned businesses, and we spoke with so many leaders, and basically every second says that there are moments where we all feel lonely. But it's probably different, I believe, as you are with Michael, I am with Vilma, and I mean there are some other as well, like partners, sharing
Mhm.
50-50, and family owned businesses. So that kind of helps to have someone to share those deep thoughts, and like intentional to set the time, the space for reflecting and kind of discovering newly yourself. And I have
Mhm.
another question, because since you've been doing that for quite many years, what maybe you could go back in time and think, what were the major shifts in your belief system, of you two as a couple, as partners, that truly elevated you and you really evolved to where you are today? And yeah, how did that journey look like?
Yeah, look, it's really interesting. I mean, we've gone through a couple of tough times in the company, and I think that's where, when you go through a really tough time, you're forced to look at things. And I think that's when we really started to study the mind, and we really thought, right, what else? We just, what else we want to, we're determined. And I think that we started to study and we started to do a lot of work. And what really shifted for us was, you hear all the time, thoughts create things. And I think it's a very broad term, but when you start to look at it and study it, it's what you focus on. And when you give yourself 20 minutes of writing out your goal every day, which is what we would do, 20 minutes, which is a long time in focus, you're focused on bringing that into your world for 20 minutes every single day. Which, if you think about it, when do you ever spend 20 minutes focusing on your goal and just your goal? So I think that there was the main shift as we started to see our income increase, our just things we were more confident, and it happened quite quickly. But it's all around focusing the mind like a laser light, where you're really, really focused. If it's everywhere, you're just not, you're not bringing, if you've got too many things to focus on. So that was the biggest thing I think we saw change quickly, was really writing out our goal. And then that was probably 20 minutes of the same repetition over and over. And we saw huge growth just with that.
Wow. And this is just, it seems simple, but it's not.
You try doing that. It takes 20 minutes for three A4 pieces of paper, like
Uh-huh.
pages of paper. And your mind would just be like, no, I don't want to do this. And it's like, you have this battle with your mind, but you're like, hold on, this is good. I'm getting ideas. I'm focusing on my goal. And you learn to love it because you're focused. So.
Yeah, and the way I feel that, because I have two places where I sit at home and work. So this is the office place, and then in my bedroom I have a smaller table. So I have kind of two diaries. So that's the one where I write in, and
Right. And
and
what
there
do
is
you do?
another one.
What's your ritual?
Yeah,
What's
and there
your
is another
ritual?
one. So just, yeah, in case, where depending where I choose to sit down and drink my morning coffee after having a run or walk by the beach. So yeah, so I make sure that I have somewhere to write, even though there are so many apps out there, and but it's just still that old style pen and paper that has something to do with the brain, I believe. I'm not sure what. Rachel,
Mm.
since you are such a holistic person, and I am honored to know you, and I'm honored that you've been my teacher, I have a
Mm.
question regarding humanity. Where do you think right now? I mean, we as humans are wasting mostly our potential, and why does that maybe frustrates you? How would you want to see things differently, and why does that kind of matters for you?
Look, I think I I don't look outside of where I'm headed. I think I'm very clear on the difference that I want to make, and whether that's good or whether I have my head and kind of with the blinkers on. I find what does annoy me, because I was in the media for such a long time, that it's just there is so much negativity, but there's also light and shade, and you cannot have the light without the dark. You cannot have the flip sides. And I think that wherever we are right now, I think that there's infinite potential, and I'm always a glass half full person. I know that there's really terrible things that go on in the world, but there's also the flip side of exciting things and so many innovative things. And I just really want to see, like, taking full advantage of this amazing technology that we have, the amazing inventions. And if there's a problem, there's always the flip side and the solution, because there's always both available at the same time. And that's what I love. Whenever there's a problem, it's like, if there's a problem here, there's always an answer, there's always a flip side. So I guess I don't really tune in to, okay, what's frustrating me. The animal
Mhm.
side is because there is a lot of animal cruelty, and I feel that that is one of my missions. There's a lot of people looking after, child trafficking and all those things, but my mission is to give animals a voice and help people be more aware and learn the amazing things that we have before some of these animals disappear and it's too late.
Mm. And I will do a segue now back to the girl director and us as leaders being brave enough to communicate right in a video with all our emotions visible. Why do you think so many human beings, I mean leaders, were not even leaders, it's just human beings, we are afraid of a camera? What
Yeah,
is
look,
that
I think
fear? Mhm.
I think it's also a generational thing, mostly of what I've experienced, because the new generation, they've been born in that, and they're very much, cameras have been around. So it really is a generation. When I grew up, it
Hmm.
was, go and get your photos developed. um, so I really do feel that we are becoming, as a world, more connected, but I really also feel there's also a lot of disconnection, and that's
Okay. You did absolutely, Rachel. Well, I am so glad that you joined this initiative because I truly believe in a couple of things. Definitely having, kind of merging people voice with the voice of animals. I have no doubts that with artificial intelligence used in the most ethical ways, that could give us profoundly different decisions, and probably I don't know how to call it. We would probably not use word growth at any costs anymore, and it would be degrowth, like organic kind of thing for businesses. But at the same time, you are creating that brave and confident leader. That's something really really powerful, because I feel that in many companies, leaders, they tend to hide behind numbers, hide behind um, reporting to shareholders and etc. And they do not, they feel that communication, not internal, I mean, I'm not speaking about internal, but even the internal communication is not a value adding job. It's something, our PR, our marketing can do, our communication kind of department. But actually, I do see on LinkedIn and other places how much more amplitude and value those CEOs with the strong voice of their mission they can bring, not only to the business but as well to the ecosystem. So my final question would be, Rachel, if you could give one advice to those leaders who is kind of, they feel into that, but they kind of still on the fence, what would that advice be? Rachel, thank you so much for joining this initiative.